The story begins with the main character sitting in his classroom, stealing secret glances at one of his classmates. He can't recall exactly when it started, but his eyes always seem to turn toward the same girl. He's sure he's not some creep, and it's not like she stands out in any special way either. If he had to define their relationship, he'd simply call them childhood friends. Just then, the girl walks over to him and says, "Momose-kun, the teacher asked me to give you this." He accepts the notes from the girl, Fujino Sumi, while his thoughts once again shift toward how, even if they are childhood friends, it is not a big deal because they still call each other by their last names. When they started middle school, they stopped going to school together and do not even talk to each other much now. Since they are both in high school, things have changed significantly, as he no longer remembers when they stopped calling each other by their first names. When they were still children, they were really close, but that time has now passed. That evening, he is sitting at home with his younger sister when their mother returns from work and informs them that Sumi will be visiting their house that day. He is really shocked to hear that about his childhood friend. Seeing his reaction, his mother reminds him how Sumi was always a frequent visitor to their house. She further explains how she met her at the supermarket today and confirmed that Sumi has been living alone in her house for some time now. According to her, Sumi's parents got transferred after she had already started high school, so she had to live alone. She happily tells him how they ended up talking about their childhood. Sumi mentioned that she loved her karage, so she invited her for dinner. His mother tells him how Sumi was really happy to get invited, and he finally stops complaining. In contrast to his mood, his younger sister, Chihiro, seems really happy about getting a chance to eat with Sumi. His mother also seems particularly excited, thinking about when Sumi last visited them and how she wants to make the best karage today. Yu is still trying to understand the situation when his mother suddenly mentions how Sumi-chan has become really adorable now. She even wants to ask for his opinion, but Yu cannot come up with a reply. Still, it gets him thinking about how Sumi is not considered an adorable girl in their classroom. His thoughts are interrupted by his younger sister asking their mother when Sumi-chan will be coming, to which she replies that Sumi will come sometime after 6. While they start chatting about her arrival, Yu quietly slips into his room. Inside, he casually thinks about how he should throw out the garbage and clean his room a little. Looking at his manga collection, he even considers putting them a bit out of the way. He does not even realize when he starts cleaning his room, even though he is not sure if Sumi will visit his room or not. When realization hits him, he sits on the ground, trying to understand his own actions. Suddenly, he stumbles upon his photo album, which he had almost forgotten about, and quickly takes it out. It reminds him of how his mother always loved doing these kinds of things. As soon as he glances at the first picture, he is hit by nostalgia, as it is a photo from his grade school. In the photo, his sister Chihiro is very small, which really amuses him. The album also has pictures of all his friends, even though some are a bit blurry. Along with that, the album is filled with many photos of his and Sumi's childhood. Looking at all the pictures, it reminds him of how she used to visit their house often and how they always played together. Taking a walk down memory lane, he recalls how she was always a big fan of his mother's karage. Whenever they ate it together, she would get so excited that he even forgot to chew it properly. At that time, he found Sumi really adorable while she ate the karage. After recalling her love for the karage, he starts remembering how they always played all day long, and whenever she stayed at his place, they would just keep playing without worrying about sleep. A smile crosses his face as he recalls how they would chant a poem before going to sleep. Back in his childhood, he spent more time with Sumi than anyone else. After a while, he finally stops thinking about his past and instead decides to take a bath. Still, his thoughts continue to revolve around Sumi since she is coming over after such a long time. He realizes that their parents still think of them as kids who played together all the time. But for them, things have changed. Now Sumi is no longer an excited child, but a very serious adult. In the evening, Sumi finally comes to their house and receives a very warm welcome from Yu's mother and sister. Meanwhile, he feels a little awkward as he greets her, his heart even starting to beat strangely. She politely says she feels nervous because she came here after such a long time. Yu reminds her that she used to come here often. Sumi agrees, but adds that things are different now. She asks his permission to use his first name just for today. She quickly explains that his mother might find it strange if they call each other by their last names, because she still calls her Mama Yu-kun. He recalls Sumi always used to call his mother that way. Thinking about it, he doesn't mind because it would be better for his mother. He nervously asks if he can also call her by her first name. She instantly agrees. Their awkward conversation is interrupted. Chihiro calls Sumi-chan to walk quickly. At Yu's reply, she shouts, "I didn't ask you, Oni-chan." Yu keeps thinking about how they are on a first-name basis again. When they reach the dining table, all three of their mouths water at the sight of the amazing dishes. Yu points out to his mother she has made too much. She comments his face says otherwise. She tells everyone to sit around the table. To his question about their father, his mother replies he is working late. They will just eat. As soon as everyone takes their first bite, they are blown away by the delicious taste of the karage. Looking at Sumi, his mother excitedly calls her adorable. She encourages her to eat as much as she wants. Suddenly, Yu bursts into laughter. Everyone looks at him with strange expressions. He quickly explains Sumi always made the same face whenever she was eating. Chihiro bursts out laughing at that. Sumi is not happy that they are making fun of her like that. Yu's mother starts smiling widely. She says it feels just like the old times. When everyone finishes eating, Sumi helps Yu's mother put everything away. The siblings are still talking about the yummy food. Soon Sumi realizes it is already late. She asks for permission to go back home. Chihiro instantly gets disappointed to hear that, but Yu handles her. Their mother tells Sumi to visit whenever she wants. She replies that she is really excited to hear that. She would like to take Skook like Mama Yu. Mama Yu quickly offers to teach her, and Sumi, surprised, asks again if she really wouldn't mind. Yu's mom smiles and replies, "Of course not." Sumi thanks her, saying she's really looking forward to it. Meanwhile, Chihiro excitedly tells Sumi to visit their home as often as she can. Yu is a bit taken aback by her demand. He feels relieved when Sumi agrees to come back often. After a few more minutes, they bid each other goodbye. Yu's mother asks him to walk Sumi back to her house. On their walk toward her house, Yu apologizes for his sister's overexcited behavior. Sumi says it was very cute. She found the happy atmosphere great. Sumi adds, getting the chance to talk with him after such a long time was really great. Soon they reach her house. She thanks him for walking with her. Yu is a bit disappointed at how close her house is. He bids her goodbye with a promise to meet at school. When he is alone, he squats down on the ground. He thinks about how Sumi ate at his place, which is not a new thing. Calling each other by their first names again is a good thing. This is just how it was in the past. Still, somehow it feels really different to him. After spending the evening with his childhood friend, Yu gets curious about the word nostalgia. He looks it up to understand what it means. In the morning, he is woken up by the ringing of his alarm, but he is still thinking about yesterday evening. Because of that, he wakes up feeling tired, and after having a very lazy breakfast, he leaves the house to go to school. His mother looks at him worriedly because of his exhausted condition. As soon as he leaves the house, Chihiro notices that he has left his lunchbox at home. Yu is sitting in class when he realizes his lunchbox is missing and instantly gets worried about his lunch money. He cannot believe that he accidentally put his gym clothes in the bag and does not have any money to buy lunch. Just to add salt to his wounds, he sees two of his classmates having a lovely conversation, where the girl offers her lunchbox to her boyfriend. He cannot believe that this kind of love exists in the world while he is stuck trying to figure out how he can eat lunch. Just then, someone places his lunchbox on his table. When he looks up, he is surprised to see Sumi standing there, greeting him. His words instantly get jumbled as he asks how she has his lunchbox. Sumi explains that his mother met her and asked her to bring his lunchbox to school. You cannot believe that his friend actually brought it all the way for him. Before leaving, Sumi suddenly suggests that they should exchange numbers. For a moment, he is really surprised to hear that, but seeing her reaction, he quickly answers that it is fine. She promised to visit his place again. It is good for them to have each other's contact information. She further tries to talk about cooking, but Yu suddenly stands up, looking worried. When she questions him about it, he does not reply. He is just concerned that someone might have overheard them. Sumi goes back to her table, while Yu is still repeating their conversation in his head and thinking about how nervous he was, even though they only chatted for less than a minute. To him, the time felt much longer. The strange feeling really shocks him because he knows there is nothing wrong with chatting with Sumi since they have been friends since childhood. After some time, Yu remembers that he needs to put his bag in the locker, so he stands up to go outside. Still, he feels a bit out of it today. His mind is stuck on how Sumi asked them to be on a first-name basis. Now he is worried whether he should actually call her by her first name. It reminds him how she seemed perfectly fine with it, while he is the one acting strange. Trying to calm himself down, he decides to send her a message and types a simple thanks for bringing his lunch. He instantly gets a reply where Sumi asks if he is still a fan of Kin Piragobo. She further adds how he always had that food in his lunchbox whenever they were little. Yu is really surprised to know that she still remembers that detail, and it reminds him how fond he was of that food. For a moment, he thinks his personality has changed, but it looks like he is still the same. All these interactions with Sumi leave him feeling really weird but nostalgic at the same time. When school ends and he is walking back home, it suddenly starts raining heavily. For a moment, he considers running home, but seeing how it is really pouring, he takes shelter at a bus stop, deciding to wait there for a while. Surprisingly, Sumi also arrives, dripping wet, as she asks if he is also waiting for the rain to stop. Yu is really shocked to see her condition. Sumi quickly explains that she tried to run as fast as she could, but she still got really wet. As she sits beside him, she says how it is really surprising to see him hiding from the rain, because when he was little, he loved to play around in the rain. She was always surprised how he never got sick. Yu smiles at their childhood memories and comments that she used to play in the rain too. Sumi giggles at his reply, but when she tries to say something else, Yu suddenly stands up, saying that the rain is not stopping. Oblivious to him, Sumi just commented on the weather while Yu was internally panicked as he had accidentally peeked at her dress. He couldn't believe how his thoughts had changed because Sumi was always a good friend to him, and he never thought of her as a girl. Right now, his heart is beating really fast just by taking a glance at her. Besides feeling nervous, he now started to feel guilty about his actions. Seeing him acting so weird, Sumi is a bit confused, but when she takes a careful look at herself, she finally notices what was wrong. Suddenly, she starts to sneeze, and when Yu looks at her, he finds her shivering with cold. Sumi tried to play it cool, but Yu notes her condition. He offers her his gym clothes. She is surprised to see gym clothes when they hadn't had a class today. Yu simply replies that his bag was really empty today and suggests that she wear his clothes. It also reminds him how, when they used to play in the rain in their childhood, Sumi would always get sick. Even Sumi had forgotten this detail about herself, but since they were always together, Yu remembered when she would get sick, and he would have to play alone. Sharing all these memories from their past, he suddenly stands up, saying how he had never gotten sick from the rain. Sumi agrees with him and thanked him for the clothes. She then finally stood up, intending to change into his clothes. When she came back, Yu was really surprised to see how his clothes were massive on her. Sumi also noticed this fact and leaned closer to him, measuring their height. She was really surprised as she said how once she was a bit taller, but now she had to stand on her toes to reach him. Yu turned in shock while Sumi noticed that the rain had stopped, so it was finally time to go back home. Yu just keeps thinking about how they were close in childhood, and even though they seemed to be interacting more now, the distance still felt a lot. While they walked back, Sumi admitted how she also didn't like playing alone in their childhood. This made Yu feel how almost everything was the same now, but all these feelings were still very confusing. The next day, when he went to school, he found out that Sumi had caught a cold and was on leave. When Yu tells his mother about Sumi's condition, she instantly gets concerned about her health. Yu explains how, since they live close to each other, his teacher asked him to bring today's work to her. Before he can leave, his mother quickly hands him some money and medicine. He stands there confused as she instructs him to bring some vitamins and drinks for her, and also to add any snacks she would like. Yu comments that it is just a simple cold, but his mother insists that Sumi is living alone, so he needs to take care of her. She almost pushes him out of the house. Later, he is standing at the convenience store, finding all the things his mother has instructed him to buy. After a tour at the convenience store, he goes to Sumi's place, feeling a bit nervous to knock at her door. He thought of dropping her work into the mail slot, but never considered that he would have to visit a girl's place. He quickly reminds himself that it is not some girl. Sumi is his childhood friend, so he has nothing to worry about. He just needs to drop things at her place and go back. It keeps ringing for the next few minutes but gets no reply, so he considers that she might be asleep, but then remembers the messaging app and takes out his mobile, where he finds a message from Sumi telling him that she is coming to open the door. When she takes her time, Yu is worried that she might have fainted, but the door finally opens by a very sick-looking Sumi. Worried, he asks if she is doing okay, to which Sumi assures him that she is doing a lot better now. Yu doesn't believe her, but still gives her the worksheet his teacher asked him to drop. She is about to take the paper from his hand when she suddenly starts swaying around. Yu quickly helps her sit down as Sumi almost fainted. She says how she used all of her strength just to open the door. She assures him that she will be okay after resting for a bit. But now Yu is worried about her condition and says that he will help her go to bed because she can't rest on the floor. Sumi agrees to take his help, and jokes how she can't walk by herself, so he needs to give her a piggyback ride. When Yu notices that she is joking, he comments how she still has strength to make jokes. Inside, he is a bit relieved to see her using his first name. Sumi just smiles at his reply, while Yu can't help but notice how it feels like they are a bit closer today. When he notices Sumi really struggling to stand, he finally gives in and agrees to give her a piggyback ride. Sumi is really surprised to see him agreeing with her and excitedly gets ready to be picked up. She wonders how long it has been. She looks really comfortable on the piggyback ride, while he freezes in shock. Sumi starts to get worried that she might be too heavy for him. Yu reassures her that it is not the case, but doesn't share that he is just feeling nervous because she is really close to him. After assuring her again that she is not heavy, he finally takes her to the bed carefully, where she lies down under the duvet. He then gives her the drink, medicine, and other snacks his mother has asked him to buy for her. Sumi feels really grateful to receive all these things and shares how she is feeling a bit embarrassed because she is still wearing her pajamas. Before you can say something in reply, she adds how she feels at ease because it is just him who is there. After that, she falls asleep, while Yu is left sitting there thinking about how earlier he had planned to just leave quickly. But now he feels worried to leave her alone just like that. He is still confused by all these nervous feelings. Still not wanting to stay for longer, he tries to leave, but Sumi suddenly grabs his shirt, pitifully asking him to stay. When she almost starts crying, asking him not to leave her alone, Yu recalls how whenever she gets sick, she would start acting really spoiled. In those times, she would say things that Sumi would never dare to utter. Seeing her acting like that makes him really nostalgic, but he still can't understand why his heart is beating so fast. Seeing Sumi being so sensitive reminds him of their childhood, but really, his heart wouldn't stop beating fast, even when she didn't mention anything new. Meanwhile, Sumi is still teary-eyed as she complains how she is getting used to living alone, but being sick and taking care of everything by herself is really hard. You can't believe that she is this exhausted from just a cold, but it suddenly hits him how she lives alone. His mother had also said the same thing, and he finally understands why she is acting like this. Without arguing further, he just sits on the ground. When she realizes that he is going to stay, Sumi gets really excited. She wraps herself in the duvet with a bright smile on her face as she shares how happy she feels. Still, she wants to know if he will stay even if she falls asleep. Yu replies that he is not sure about this because if she falls asleep, who is going to lock the door when he leaves? Sumi quickly solves the issue by allowing him to take her spare key and again says how seeing him here makes her feel so happy. Yu is a bit concerned about her moving around so quickly, but when Sumi tries to assure him that she is fine, she once again stumbles back on the bed. Seeing her acting like this just keeps getting Yu flashbacks of their childhood, while his heartbeat also keeps acting weird. It is strange for him to see Sumi smiling so brightly when she doesn't utter a word at school. Just then, Sumi says that she is feeling hungry after moving around so much. Yu quickly takes out his bag, asking if she wants to eat the vitamin jelly or the cake he has brought. He encourages her to eat the whole cake, saying that it is all for her. He is confident that the cake is her favorite, but when she doesn't respond immediately, he instantly gets worried about his guess. Sumi quickly says that she likes the cake, but is confused how he knows this information, to which Yu explains that she was always reading the book about the cake, so he knows she likes it a lot. With a bright smile, Sumi agreed that she liked the cake, but there was something else she longed for. When Yu asks her about it, she refuses to say anything, saying that it is a secret. She changes the topic by offering Yu a strawberry from the cake, because it is the best part. Yu simply says that this is why she should eat it herself, but Sumi adds that it's a thank you for being there for her today. Her cheeks flush slightly as she gently pushes the strawberry toward him. Even though it's just a simple gesture of gratitude, it's enough to make him feel nervous. She hesitantly asks if he doesn't like strawberries, and seeing the concern on her face, he quickly replies that he actually does. He's a little confused when she raises the strawberry to his mouth, but as he tries to take it himself, Sumi pulls back and refuses to let him. Noticing how serious she looks, Yu gives in without another word, and eats the strawberry. After confirming that he really did like the strawberry, Sumi finally focuses on eating the rest of the cake, while Yu grows even more restless as he keeps sneaking glances at her. When she finally finishes eating, Sumi announces that she is going to bed and is fast asleep in the next moment, without even giving him a chance to say anything else. Once she is safe and comfortable, Yu tries to think about what he should do with the key. In the end, he just ends up taking it with him. The next day at school, he is sitting at his desk, thinking about how he will return the key, and if he meets Sumi again today, how he is going to react. Suddenly, Sumi comes to his table and thanks him for helping her yesterday. She even asks him to say thank you to his mother, and then just leaves without saying anything more. You can't believe how different she is acting today compared to yesterday. Meanwhile, Sumi is concerned about whether she has acted normally toward him or not. It takes him a moment to realize that he still hasn't returned her key. When he realizes that he still has Fujino-san's key, Yu decides to put it in her mail slot so he won't be responsible for it anymore. Sitting outside her door, he mumbles to himself about how this is making his heart race. Suddenly, a girl sits beside him, commenting on how something like this is bound to make people nervous. Yuichi is shocked to see her there, and his first instinct is to run away. But she quickly grabs his sweater, stopping him from moving. He recognizes the girl as Shiratori Erika-san, one of his classmates, with whom he usually has no interaction at all. Erika seems really curious about why he has Sumi's key, while Yu is just disappointed that he got caught like this. When she keeps questioning him, he tries to reply, but Erika suddenly says that she wants to eat a parfait right now. You can't believe she would suddenly say something like that, but when Erika threatens to share this with their class, he has no choice but to agree. Soon they are sitting at a cafe, where Erika happily gets one of the parfaits and once again asks him to answer. When he still looks really nervous, she assures him that she wouldn't tell anyone because, after all, they are part of Nanana. Yu is really shocked to hear that word, because it has been a long time since anyone used it. When Erika asks if she should call Zu, he quickly denies it, saying no because Zu would be shocked to receive a sudden call. In his mind, Yu recalls how back in elementary school, they were in a group of close friends and made a name for their group based on Japanese words. The album he found the other day was full of pictures of their group, Nanana, and it reminds him how they were really good friends back then. But now Erika has completely changed from that time. He comes out of his thoughts when Erika again asks him to tell her the whole story. Yu simply says how he went there to deliver the worksheets, and she must already know that since they are in the same class. Erika finally remembers how the teacher told him to do that, but she is still confused about why he has Sumi's key. When Yu can't get out of it, he finally admits that Sumi was really sick when he went there, so he put her to bed himself and then locked the door, keeping the key. Erika finds his explanation really boring, and when Yu asks what she thought happened, she imagined the two were still carrying on. Yu gets really agitated to hear that, but she just ignores him, saying it's just like Sumi to act that way. After all, she's the only one who would fall asleep with a boy around, which means she must feel really comfortable with Yu's presence. Feeling nervous, he recounts how she must not be paying it any attention because she was really drowsy, and there are things about her that are still the same. When Erika asks him to explain, he replies that Sumi's smile is still the same as it used to be. His answer seems to excite Erika, and she wants him to give her every detail whenever he meets Sumi again. Soon they leave the cafe, and Erika shares how she felt he didn't like her anymore. Yu quickly denies it, to which Erika replies that he doesn't talk to her much and even calls her by her last name. He apologizes, saying how they are not kids anymore, while Erika just ignores him, saying how their gang is in the same class again, but they don't talk much. Yu simply replies that people rarely stay friends after elementary school, especially boys and girls. Erika doesn't agree with him, but she just ignores it and tells him not to use her last name from now on. She tells him to call her by her first name and even suggests that all members of Nanana should hang out again. Yu is a bit nervous to hear that, not knowing what will happen if they get together again, but Erika assures him that it is not a big deal because Nanana are still best friends. Yu points out how that phrase is old now, but she just insists that since it was in her mind, it is okay. She then points out how he is still using her last name and gets really excited when he finally calls her Action. He remembers something and asks why she was at Sumi's place, to which Erika replies that she had some free time before work, so she decided to go there. Just then, she realizes how late she is for work and almost runs away from there, leaving him alone. He keeps wondering why he can easily call Erika by her first name, but feels really nervous when it comes to Sumi. When he returns to his house, he finds Chihiro really excited and asks if something happened. She answers how she met with Sumi today, and she agreed to let them spend the night at her place. Yu is still in shock, even when he is standing outside Sumi's place with a very excited Chihiro by his side. He can't believe that they are actually here and that the sleepover is going to happen. When they ring the bell, Sumi opens the door and welcomes both of them inside. Yu does all the necessary greetings as Sumi shows them where they can leave their bags. Chihiro is really excited, while Yu feels very nervous inside. Though he was always excited about the sleepover, he thinks that it feels different now. When Sumi brings tea, Chihiro excitedly asks what they are going to do tonight. Being a bit embarrassed, Yu tells his sister to calm down, but Sumi politely says that they will have some takoyaki. Chihiro instantly gets happy to hear that, while Yu just sits there dumbfounded, not understanding anything and feeling a bit confused. Chihiro asks Sumi if she often has sleepovers with friends. She replies that it is her first time having someone over. She explains that she just bought this takoyaki machine and wants to know their opinion. Chihiro quickly agrees, running around and cheering excitedly, while Yu asks Sumi if she needs ingredients for this. She tells him that she already bought some things and shows him the groceries she prepared. He is amazed by everything she has, and she even brings out more ingredients. Still a bit concerned, Sumi asks if they need anything else and offers to arrange it. But Yu quickly says that it's enough. They are interrupted by Chihiro jumping on his back and loudly exclaiming that Sumi-chan has been looking forward to this. Once again, Yu is reminded of their childhood sleepover, when Sumi once brought a huge backpack to their house. At that time, she said she would be staying so they could spend a lot of time together, which is why she had brought all that stuff. His mother had been surprised to see the bag, but young Yuichi was really happy. Now looking back at it, he realizes how Sumi tends to overpack whenever she's anticipating something. When he doesn't say anything for a while, Chihiro curiously asks if something is wrong, but he quickly replies, "It's nothing." In reality, he feels really nervous to be here after such a long time. Still, he ignores the feeling and instead suggests that they should start preparing the takoyaki. The girls instantly get enthusiastic and begin bringing out the ingredients. They eagerly ask what they can put inside, with Chihiro being the happiest of them all, repeatedly asking if she can try a bunch of things. When the first round of takoyaki is finally made, Chihiro eats it happily, exclaiming how delicious it is. Watching Sumi and Chihiro enjoy the food, Yu feels relieved because he had been worried earlier that this might not turn out well. After eating, Chihiro nearly falls into a food coma. Instead of lying down, she suddenly gets up, saying that the sleepover is just starting. Yu asks her to calm down a bit, but she ignores him and goes straight to Sumi. She asks if they can play games next and then even take a bath. Hearing this, Yu realizes that he will also have to take a bath, and the thought makes him feel that things might turn very strange. He soon realizes that even if he refuses, it would seem weirder, so he decides to ignore the thought. Chihiro happily shares that she even brought a ducky with her. Yu is still uncomfortable and announces that he will just go home to take a bath. Both Chihiro and Sumi look confused by his decision, but he doesn't get to say anything else. Chihiro quickly takes out the gaming console and announces that it's time to play games. They'll play a game first before taking a bath. While the girls focus on the console, Yu can't help but keep thinking about how he'll have to bathe here. The thought only slips from his mind when Chihiro suddenly pushes a controller into his hand. As a horror game starts on the screen, both girls quickly hide behind him. Yu tries to say something, but Chihiro immediately explains that, while the game might be scary, she's still curious about it. Yu points out that she's already shaking, even though the game hasn't even started. Chihiro quickly argues that she's just excited. When she keeps being sassy, Yu turns to Sumi for her opinion. Sumi admits that she's really scared of these kinds of games. Yu already knows that, but he hadn't realized she's still that afraid. Sumi explains that she hasn't tried one in a long time and thought maybe it wouldn't be a big deal anymore. Hearing this, Chihiro cheers, which gives Sumi the courage to try. They both worry about how Yu feels, but he shows them that he's played these games before and they don't scare him anymore. Finally, he decides to just get on with it and starts the game. When the first monster appears on the screen, Chihiro flinches, clearly a little scared, but still enjoying herself. Meanwhile, Sumi is visibly struggling with all the scary things happening. As the game continues and Chihiro gets more excited, Sumi suddenly grabs Yu's arm. She quietly asks if it's okay for her to stay like that. Seeing her frightened face, he nods. Chihiro grabs his other arm, leaving Yu stuck between them. He tries to focus on the game, even though his heart is racing. He assures himself that it's just because of the horror and nothing else. When the game finally ends, Chihiro beams and says how much she enjoyed it, completely forgetting how much she had screamed earlier. She heads off to the bathroom, leaving the two of them alone. Sumi is still holding onto his arm. When Yu points out that the game's over, she softly says she's still scared. She adds that she might not go to the bathroom again. Yu quickly reassures her that he'll escort her there. As he says this, he gently wraps an arm around her, apologizing for not taking care of her properly. He sits still, letting her cling to him. After a while, Sumi murmurs that she feels really safe when he's close. He was always there whenever she was scared. Suddenly, she pulls away and asks if he still doesn't like green peas. The question catches you off guard, but he replies that he can eat peas now. This seems to upset Sumi, who mutters that she's the only one who hasn't changed. When Yu asks about all the things she used to be afraid of, she gets annoyed that he remembers so much about her fears. But he quickly points out that she also remembered what he liked to eat. Just then, Chihiro returns from the bathroom and announces that it's bath time. For Sumi, still feeling a little scared, the moment reminds her of when they were younger. Back then, he held her hand and promised that, whether it was thunder, ghosts, or the dark, he'd always be there to protect her. Now he can only hope she doesn't remember that part.
Here I am, know it's been a while. I was in denial about my love. Here I stand, I know I walked away. Had to find the person